Well, it's the 22nd of June today, and I have the roof just about done, and I've got a lot of other things I've got to get done, but it's getting a little late in the season. Like I say, it's the 22nd of June, and I want to try to save some of these plants. Let me show you here what I'm talking about. You see right here, I've got some grapes that are coming up, and I have been manually watering these. Got another one over here, and then I've got some potato plants that are volunteers, and then I've got my patch of asparagus over here. Now, I want to get something out of this greenhouse this year if I can, but it's getting a little too late in the season. So what I'm going to try to do is start putting up the sprinkler systems. And if you can see right here, this hose, you see that? This is one of the sprinkler systems that was mounted in the other greenhouse. And I'm going to start to put that up on the top here. And I've got another set of hoses over here. As you can see, these two black hoses right here, and they run down there. And those are also sprinkler headers. And what I need to do is, there's my water tank. Now that water tank has a regulator in it. Let me show you this. This is just a stock tank filler. And what you do is you attach a hose there, and there's a float valve. You can see it going up and down there. And what happens is the water level comes up here, it stops, and so this thing tries to stay full. And then what I do is I hook up a pump to the bottom of this thing and put it on a timer. And that runs my sprinklers. That's how I had it set up in the other, when the other greenhouse was here. It worked quite well. So, what we're going to try to do today is get this sprinkler system going, so I can grow something in here before the end of the year with it. So, let's get started on building the sprinkler system, reinstalling it. I've decided that I'm going to put this tank, reinstall it right here in the corner. This is one corner of the greenhouse, and I don't have this wall up here yet, but I'm going to put it right here in the corner because that's just a convenient spot. What I'm going to do is make a nice little flat spot here and then mount it on a couple of cinder blocks. But the first thing I've got to do is actually make a flat spot for the cinder blocks. So here we go. Okay, after a little bit of effort and digging and flattening things out, I've got this thing mounted on the two cinder blocks. That ought to be a pretty solid spot for it. Just so you know what this is the inside of an old gas water heater. You know, if you look around, you can recover a lot of things that are useful. I don't know what it would cost to buy something like this, just somewhere out of some supplier, but it'd probably be quite a bit. This one, what I did was I went into a plumbing outfit, and I just asked them if they got any old busted up water heaters, and they replaced them a lot. And the only thing I was asking them, as long as they didn't leak, you know, and they're usually what happens to these water heaters, especially if they're electric, now this one's a gas one, is they usually fill up with sediment, and then, you know, or the burners go out or something like that, and then the people decide, well, it's time for a new water heater. And actually, there's nothing wrong with the tank. So what I did is I took a saw, you know, the same saw that I was cutting these panels with. It's a cut-off wheel, basically, and I cut the top of this off and, you know, cut that where the exhaust used to go. And then you use these inlets that are already there. They're threaded and they work great. And hook up a pump to that one. You can use the bottom one there to drain it out to get sediment out if you want to. And it works great. And it's just something that someone would have thrown away. So let me get going here and start putting the pumps in with things. Now I've drug out of storage the pump that I'm going to be using. Now this is the one I had before, and this is it looks like some of these old valves just ain't going to make it anymore. But anyway, this pump is just a standard Flowtech. I think it's half horsepower. Well, I can tell you right here, it is 1 horsepower. So this is a fairly big pump. And in the other greenhouse, this thing had plenty of capacity to handle everything, and I even had to have a shunt on it so I could, you know, run off some of the water because it had too much capacity actually. So what I'm going to do is, see, it's got a nice little gauge and everything. Had this for quite a long time, and I think it's going to last for quite a long time still. So what I'm going to do now is I have to make a little stand or something, a little table to mount that on. I'm going to just attach that to the framing right here, and then you know, then basically take a suction off this tank and then run it up to the sprinklers that I'm going to put in. So for right now I got to make this little table. Okay, 3 feet tall. So I'm going to need 2 boards that are 3 feet tall to span this. So let's go cut those. Do this one first. Now we're going to make a little, put a piece of wood across here to make a little platform so that we can set that pump on. So what we need to do let's cut this one on the trusty old table saw, and there's the line I made out there, so here we go. Okay, we'll just put one to start with. Built like a brick shithouse. Didn't need to build it this strong, but with all the scraps and things I've got around here, it was just as easy to do that. So, let's finish this. And also, because it's a pump, you know, it doesn't have to be real precise and level and all that kind of stuff. So, kind of did this in a real hurry, but let's see how it worked. First of all, let's put the tank back. Let's see, I might have to do some leveling there. All right, now lift this pump up. There we go. Well, that looks pretty good. I may have to. There we go. Probably better that way. It has a bolt hole here, and so I think, yeah, that's good and stable. Very good. Very, very good. Now, well, something doesn't. Now what I have to do is, this is the suction end. This has to be connected down here. And the discharge comes out here, and then I'll hook all this up to, all of my stuff, all the hoses I need. So anyway, there it is. It's going to work good. I'm not sure whether I should turn it around now, actually. I wonder if, well, you can't reach me that. Well, no, it's okay. This is going to be fine. I mean, we'll put an electrical controller outlet or something right about here. And there we go. This will work great. All right. Okay. Now that we've got the pump kind of set up a little bit, it's not fully set up, but now it's time to start putting up the the overhead sprinkler headers. So let's get to that here. Remember to... And put this one in.